Most people think the worst thing that can happen to a truck driver in winter is breaking down. The engine dies, the truck won't move, and now you're stuck on the side of the road waiting for help. Annoying, sure. Expensive, definitely. But survivable. Here's the truth. When that breakdown happens at 40 below, on a remote stretch of highway in northern Canada, or deep in the Alaskan interior, the broken truck is not your real problem. The cold is. Because at that temperature, the clock that matters isn't how long until the tow truck shows up. It's how long your body and your truck can hold out before the cold wins. So what actually happens when a rig dies in that kind of weather? Why is shutting the engine off one of the most dangerous things a driver can do out there? And how do experienced drivers turn a situation that could kill them into just another hard night on the road? Before we get into it, drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. I love seeing how far this trucking community really stretches and how many of you have actually lived through a night like this. And if life on the road is your kind of thing, go ahead and hit subscribe, because there's a lot more coming. Because what I want to show you today is the part of trucking that almost nobody talks about. Not the chrome and the long hauls and the sunsets. The survival side. The nights where a driver's preparation and the cold, hard facts of how machines behave in extreme cold are the only thing standing between a routine breakdown and a genuine emergency. Let's start with what 40 below actually means, because most people have never felt anything close to it. At that temperature, this isn't bundle up and you'll be fine cold. Exposed skin can start to freeze in minutes. The air feels like it has weight. Touch bare metal and it pulls the heat out of your hand instantly. And it isn't just hard on people, it's hostile to the machine too. Out there, the truck and the body are fighting the same enemy at the same time. And that changes everything about how a breakdown plays out. So here's the first thing most people get wrong. They picture a stranded driver and think, the engine's broken, that's the danger. But a lot of the time, the engine isn't even what failed first. The cold got to something else. Think about what extreme cold does to a diesel truck. Diesel fuel doesn't behave the way gasoline does. When it gets cold enough, it starts to thicken. The fuel can gel up, turning from a free-flowing liquid into something closer to a slush that the engine simply can't pull through the lines. Batteries lose a huge chunk of their power in deep cold, so even if everything else is fine, the truck might not have the muscle to crank over. Rubber seals get stiff and brittle, and the air brake system, the system these trucks rely on to stop 80,000 pounds of steel, can have moisture in the lines that freezes solid, locking things up. So when people imagine a breakdown out there as one clean mechanical failure, the reality is messier. The cold attacks several things at once, and that's exactly why drivers do something that sounds completely backwards to most people. They don't turn the engine off, not at night, not when they stop, sometimes not for days at a stretch. Now, to an outsider, that seems wasteful. Why leave a giant diesel engine idling for hours with nobody driving it? But out there, it's not waste. It's survival. As long as that engine keeps running, it keeps itself warm. It keeps the fuel moving. It keeps the batteries charged. And it keeps heat flowing into the cab where the driver is. Shut it off in those conditions, and you might be looking at an engine that won't restart until it thaws, which in the middle of nowhere could be a very long time. There's an old saying among cold weather drivers that captures it perfectly. At 40 below, if you shut it down, it might not start again until spring. It's an exaggeration, but only barely. That running engine is the difference between a warm box you can wait inside and a dead metal shell you're trapped next to. But here's the part most people never think about. What happens when the thing keeping you alive is the thing that just failed? Because sometimes the engine does quit, or the heater does. And in that moment, the driver's attention has to shift completely away from the truck and on to staying alive. This is where it stops being about mechanics and starts being about the human body. Because at 40 below, you do not have a lot of time. Heat leaves an unheated cab fast. The metal does nothing to hold it in. And the human body, sitting still, loses warmth quickly when there's nothing fighting the cold. Hypothermia isn't a dramatic, far-off threat in that environment. It's the immediate one. So the driver's whole job, in those first hours, is simply to stay warm enough, long enough for help to arrive. And out on a remote northern highway, help can be hours away, not minutes. So how do they survive it? The answer isn't luck. It's preparation, done long before anything goes wrong. Experienced cold weather drivers treat the gear as part of the job, not an afterthought. Many run a bunk heater, a small, separate heater that burns just a trickle of diesel and can keep the sleeping area warm independently of the main engine. So even if the big engine is down, there may still be a way to hold heat. On top of that, the smart ones carry what amounts to a survival kit. Extra blankets, always. A sleeping bag rated for serious, genuine cold, not ordinary winter cold, but the real thing. Heavy insulated boots, gloves, and a jacket that can actually handle the temperature if they have to step outside. Some carry extra food and water, a way to signal for help and backup power. Not because they expect disaster on any given night, but because if it does come, the middle of a 40 below night is not the moment to wish you'd packed for it. And there's one more layer to it that's easy to miss, the discipline of paying attention. Drivers who have done this for years do not wait for a crisis to announce itself. If the cab starts cooling when it should not, they investigate immediately. A small drop in temperature is easy to handle when you catch it early. Ignoring it, hoping it sorts itself out, is the kind of risk that experienced drivers simply do not take. Out there, small problems become serious ones faster than you would believe, so they stay ahead of them. The preparation is quiet, routine, almost boring, right up until the night it saves a life. So when you put it all together, the running engine, the bunk heater, the gear stored within arm's reach, the habit of catching trouble early, what looks from the outside like a terrifying gamble is actually a system. A driver stranded at 40 degrees below zero is not usually rolling the dice. They are leaning on choices they made hours or days earlier, before the cold ever got its chance. But none of that changes the part of this that no amount of equipment can fully fix: the isolation. Picture it for a second. You're parked on an empty highway in the dark. The nearest town might be 100 miles back. There's no traffic, no lights, nothing but frozen country in every direction, and a temperature outside that would kill you in a night if you let it. And it's on you, your preparation, your decisions, your nerve. There's no front desk to call, no neighbor down the hall, just you, the truck, and the cold, waiting it out until the sky lightens or the help arrives. That's the side of trucking that doesn't make the postcards. The drivers who run the far north in winter aren't chasing adventure. They're moving the fuel, the food, and the supplies that entire communities depend on through some of the harshest conditions on the continent, and they do it knowing that any night could turn into the one they prepared for. They don't talk about it like heroes. Most of them will tell you it's just the job. You check your gear, you respect the cold, you don't take shortcuts, and you keep going. But make no mistake, that quiet competence, that calm in a place that's actively trying to kill you, is its own kind of remarkable. So the next time you're warm at home, and you see a winter storm rolling across the map up north, think about the trucks still out there in it. Engines running in the dark, drivers awake, watching the temperature, ready for whatever the night decides to do. They make a hostile, frozen world look almost routine, and that's exactly why it's so easy to forget how dangerous it really is. Now I want to hear from you. If you're a driver, what's the coldest night you've ever spent out on the road, and what got you through it? And if you've never driven a mile in winter, what surprised you the most about how this actually works? Drop it in the comments. Every one of them helps more people discover the world of trucking, and I read them all. If this gave you a new respect for what these drivers do me a favor and hit that like button, and subscribe if you haven't yet, because there's a whole lot more where this came from. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you down the road.